Hello, and welcome back to another gardening video. In this video, as you can see, I've got this amazing looking pod here, and this is a cacao pod, and it's really amazing. I've never actually seen one before, so it's really cool, and we got this on eBay, but for about 10 or £12, so it was fairly expensive, but way worth it, because such an exotic plant, like, these are native to, like, South America, like the subtropical Amazon rainforests, and they're also commercially grown in like areas in Asia, but they grow in conditions of like 20 to 25 degrees. So I thought to myself, why can't I try growing this here, just inside? Because our house is usually between about 19 and 24 degrees anyway. So first of all, I got some dried beans, just like on Amazon, just for like a few pounds. But then when they arrived, I realised that you can't actually germinate dry cacao beans. They have to be fresh, straight from the pod. So then we had to set about ordering one of these. And so I'm going to open this up in a sec, and I've heard that they're really difficult to open up because the skin surrounding everything inside is at least like a centimetre thick. So if you get one of your own cacao pods, then make sure to get a really thick knife. Like, I've got this good, like, serrated knife here, or a big, like, bread knife here, and, yeah. So, it takes, if you're wondering how the fruit grows in the wild, it has big trees that grow, like, in the lowlands of rainforests, and when the pod grows, that it's quite a weird plant because it actually gets produced on the trunks of the trees. So the flowers, they come out on the trunks, and then after about 6 to 8 months, the pods start to develop, and then the animals come and pick them and eat them, and then they spread. Now, I told you a bit about it, let's get about cutting it. So what you need to do is you need to cut off about, I'd say, couple or 3 inches off the end, and just get a knife and just really cut into it. And it might be quite difficult because it's almost like cutting into wood, so just try really hard, put a bit of muscle into it, just saw through that, and there we go. Now we've got a bit of bean in there, so not ideal, but it's okay. So taken off the end, and if you smell it, it smells really, really fresh, almost like you're in the rainforest itself. And it smells a little weird, but I guess that's just what it smells like, and it smells a little bit, I can get the hints of like watermelon in there a little bit, and banana, so I guess that's just because that's where it's from. So now that you've cut off the end of it like this, you now just have to make like you have to like cut down from above, not so thick that you get to the actual beans, but just thick enough that you can do it on both sides, and then you can like basically split it open. So I'll just finish doing that, and if you want to closer up see what I'm doing, I'm just like cutting down one of these ridges like this, and then I'll do the same on the other side and go all the way through, but not so through that it cuts into this middle bit, just enough that I can then like rip it open and have 2 halves. Okay, so I'll just do that. So I've managed to cut through at least, I'd say, a couple of millimeters, if not a centimetre maybe, but it's still not it's starting to budge a little bit, but it's still not opening that much. So I'm just going to cut a little bit more, but make sure when you're cutting that you don't cut fully through, because that's where all the little beans are, and you don't want to cut them because they're like one of the most important bits of it. So just cut a little bit more, and you might just be able to see there how much I've cut of each. So you kind of want to get down, you kind of want to cut through this top kind of woody bit down in, and then stop just before this like fleshy bit, and then the beans are in the middle of that. So we can almost just break it apart now, but if it can't quite, just get like a thick bread knife like this and just kind of ease it apart a little bit. like that. Seems to be working a bit, almost just. There we go, it looks like you can just about take it off. Whoa, look at this. I've just like almost just shelled it basically. And whoa, look how cool those beans look. They almost look like loads of little caterpillars in little pods. And so, whoa, that's so cool, you can see it. It almost looks like little snowballs in a way. So we'll just try and do that to the other side as well. There we go. Look at that. Almost looks like a big kind of cocoon with all these little white things, and all those little kind of sections you see, they're the beans surrounded by the like white fleshy bit. And you can see I've cut a little bit into it on either side, but hopefully it hasn't got down to the beans. And you can see these shell bits on either side that housed it, and they're almost like, yeah, little things. So I'm pretty certain you don't do anything with these, you'll just like throw them away or put them in your compost heap. But I might keep them for a bit because they look quite cool, as you can see, like this. So yeah. And if I just give them a nice little smell again, it smells like, I don't know, I don't really know what it smells like. It doesn't smell like anything I've ever smelled before because it's like so tropical and unusual. And if you're wondering how you get the little beans out of this weird fleshy stuff, basically the best thing to do is just get it like this, and then what you do is you just put the whole thing in your mouth and just kind of suck away at it until all the white bit kind of like goes away and you're just left with the little seed. So don't eat it, but just kind of suck away at it like this. It tastes quite weird, like it doesn't taste like, it's a bit like tangy in flavour, and a little bit almost like a lemon and an orange and a watermelon and a banana mixed together. Nothing like I've ever tasted before, and I thought it was gonna not taste that nice, but kind of tastes like a fruit cocktail all like mixed in together, fruit salad. It might be a bit weird at first when you put it in because it's almost like sucking like a little jelly almost, but if you just keep at it, it might take like a few minutes or so, but just keep at it and you should get to the bean underneath. Remember, don't like chew it, and I mean you can chew it a tiny bit, but remember, don't like bite completely through it because then you'll destroy the bean. Just like suck it, and it kind of like peels away almost like a Haribo does when you suck it. So I think I've mostly sucked as much of it as I could, so I'm just gonna like maybe wash out the rest if I can. There we go, so we've managed to suck off most of the white bit and wash it away, and then yeah, we're left with this little bean, and it's quite a weird kind of texture. It looks like it's almost made up of lots of little pieces, and yeah, it almost looks like a little chocolate almond almost. So we'll just break this one open just to see what it looks like inside, and it almost just kind of crumbles in my hand, but it looks like there's like a little white bit inside, and yeah. So let's see what it tastes like. Because this is like raw chocolate, because cacao beans, this is what they are before they get like fermented and then turned into chocolate. So I think what it tastes like. It's like really rich in flavour. It tastes like really, really dark chocolate. I guess that's how I'd imagine it. Oh, it's not that nice, but like really, really dark chocolate, like 500% dark chocolate. I wouldn't recommend it if you can't taste stuff easy, but yeah, really rich flavour. Okay, so we've cut up the thing. We've cut up the cacao pod, we've opened it up, we've eaten one of the pods, and so now we're actually going to try planting it. So how we're going to do that is I'll get the raw beans out of that. So we'll have to do that whole thing over again, but I might, in this case, instead of maybe just get a knife and kind of like peel it off, if you will. And so we'll get a good few because I've got like 12 or 15 little pots to put them in, so that's how many we'll need, and you'll probably get like a 50 to 70% germination rate, so we want to plant a few more than we might actually need. So just taken quite a few there, so we'll just get a few more. There we go. So we've got 16 pods there that have beans that haven't had the white stuff taken off of them, and here's the leftovers of it. There's still a whole nother side, so we've still got quite a few to enjoy to ourselves. And if you want to see like a clear cross section of what the inside of the beans look like, that's roughly what they look like. So you can see they're all kind of almost like bricks, almost slotted into place. So we'll just get the actual beans out of all these white bits. That's quite cool with these cacao trees, that even in their native habitats they grow in like 20 to 25 degrees, which means that you can plant them inside in like colder areas like England, for example. You just have to make sure that they're in like south facing windows. And they don't even grow like to the tallest of the trees in the rainforests. They often grow just like medium size, so that means that they're used to like dappled sun. So that's quite good if you want to grow them in areas like here where we're not in like American or South American climates. So yeah, we'll just clean all these up and then I'll just show myself planting them. Okay, so we've managed to get the cacao beans, like quite a lot of them. There's at least like 10 or 11 here, but we might need to get a few more because it's not quite enough. I didn't like put them in my mouth and suck them out like I did with the first one. I just kind of like peeled them by hand, and then I'm just keeping the white pulp that I get rid of so that I can like eat it later on. And so I did that with all of them, and then I came out with all of these, and we're literally just gonna put these in the ground, and as soon as the beans come into the air, they start to spoil fairly quickly, and spoil means that they won't be able to germinate anymore. So we have to get them planted as soon as possible. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we've got some nice biodegradable pots here that then when the beans get bigger, we can put them into bigger pots. And then we've also got 3 or 4 medium-sized pots here. So yeah, let's start planting. And when you actually plant the bean, you literally just find a pot you want, get your finger and just poke a little hole in it like this. And if you look at the soil, it looks really wet, and that's just because I've given all of the soil a nice kind of thorough watering beforehand, and then that will mean that when the beans go in, that it will already be wet down where they are, and then they'll germinate faster. And yeah, so just poke a hole big enough for the beans in every single one of the pots. And you don't have to use biodegradable pots like I'm doing. You can just use like regular plastic pots. But I just thought these are a little bit smaller, and these were like the smallest plastic pots I had. Okay, so, yeah, and here's our like fully collection of beans we've got. So just get a little bean like this and try and get it so that it's facing this way up rather than this way, but it doesn't really matter which way you place it, because gravity will make sure that it sprouts the right way. So just put that in a little hole like that and then cover it over with earth. And you might have to put a bit more earth on top, because after watering it usually makes all the earth like go down quite a lot. So we'll just get another bean, and as you can see, this is actually really exciting for me because I've literally never done this before. I've never done anything like it. Like the most tropical thing I've grown is like broad beans. That's just like normal. So this is really, really exciting, and I don't know whether this will work, as of course you know they're native to like America and South America, which is really hot. So it's just an experiment, but hopefully it will work, and even if it doesn't, it will just be a really good learning experience for me. And it doesn't matter whether the pots are big or small. It's almost better if they're bigger, because then you don't have to like transplant them like into bigger pots when they get larger. There we go. So we've done all of them basically, and we might just have to add a little bit more soil onto the tops of those, but then we can put them in their final positions. After I've finished like putting all the soil on top, and when they're completely done, which they pretty much are, we're going to put them in this odd looking box here. And this is actually an incubator, and it's meant for like eggs, but we thought, well, why not put the trays of pots in here, and then we can make sure that the temperature stays at like 25 degrees all the time. So this is where they're going to end up, but you don't need one of these. You just need like a warm room and keep it like fairly high humidity and make sure that they're always quite wet until they sprout. And then just make sure that the room never drops below like 20 degrees minimum. And then you're all set up. Yeah, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're new around here for loads more exciting videos like this and exciting gardening tips and all kinds of good things. And yeah, so thank you for watching and goodbye.